Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Flavia Gesmenlan and I'm delighted to be your host for Module 4 of the Green Agritainment video course. In this module, we will explore effective strategies for keeping the attention rate of visitors high. In this first episode, we will learn how to solve a common problem. Visitors begin engaged and then attention fades at the worst moments. What if your guests remembered your tour exactly the way you planned it because you designed their attention like a path through the orchard? By the end of this lesson, we will learn about the strong moments guests remember and the calm moments that allow recovery and how to design both with purpose. Moreover, we will discover how to create a tour map and place peaks at the right moments, and I will guide you through conducting a live 15-minute audit of your tour and collect insightful and actionable information. And if you're wondering, you do not need any special tools, only paper or a notebook, a pen, and your phone. So let's begin. Why does attention drop? Think of attention as a tank that slowly empties during a visit. Well, this tank drains faster when three things happen. First, monotony. Too much talking, not enough doing. For example, a 10-minute speech in the sun while nothing else happens. Second, we have the overload. Too many facts, too fast, with no pause. For example, listening 10 statistics without a breath or a question. And third, friction. Cues, heat, noise, or unclear directions. For example, a single tasting table with a long line and nothing to do while waiting. Does it come back? Fortunately, yes. Attention does return when we add sparks. Those are tiny moments of curiosity. When we add short action, that's a little something to do with your hands or bodies, or when we add small rests, such as shade, water, or a seat. Psychology and behavioral sciences also give us one important concept, the peak end rule. More specifically, people will remember strong peaks and how the visit ends. In a nutshell, in this episode, we will practice 3 simple skills. 1. How to map your current route using just pen and paper. 2. How to observe a group and spot attention lows with a quick code. And 3. What sparks are, how to place one before each low so the energy rises. Let's start with the mapping. On your piece of paper or notebook, I want you to draw 5 boxes in a row with space between them. Each of them should represent a stop in your tour, so label them accordingly. I will do a hypothetical labeling. For example, gate, this is where the tour starts. Second, field stop. Third, barn demo. Fourth, tasting. And fifth, shop. This would be where the tour ends. Under each box, leave space to write minutes. Now, on top of the page, I would like you to write orient, spark, do, reflect, share. This is what we call a simple attention loop. Each stop of your visit should include at least 2 of these elements. If one of our 5 boxes has none, it is a clear warning that we need to adjust that segment. Now that our tour map is ready, let's move on to learning how to perform a simple but highly effective 15-minute audit. The best part, you can apply this as early as your next group visit. Here is what you have to do step by step. When you're guiding your group, it is best for you to stand slightly on the side so you can better see the faces of the people in your group. Once the group is at the commencement point, that would be the first box on your map. Start a timer on your phone. Make sure you stop the timer the second your group is in motion again, heading for the next stop. That would be the second box on your map. For each stop, I want you to record 2 things in your notebook or on your paper. First, write the minute when the stop begins and when it ends. This will give us insight into the duration. Second, note the energy at the end of the stop using a quick code. Write up or draw an up arrow if most eyes face you, if hands are moving and questions appear, or write down or draw a down arrow if people look away, reach for their phones, children sit, etc. For every down mark, add one short reason in plain words. It could be sun in the eyes, cue too slow, too many facts, they couldn't hear me well, etc. At each stop, try to estimate how many people are still engaged at the end. This entire audit should take about 15 minutes for all your stops, and it will give you immediate and actionable insight. Now that we've learned how to collect valuable information, let's diagnose the lows and choose the right fix. Once your visit is finished and you have your data written down, circle the moments with the clearest down notes, and for each such moment ask, what caused the drop? This takes me back to the 3 attention assistants I mentioned at the beginning. Therefore, if your down was caused by monotony, the fix is a 10 to 30 second action right there. For example, invite guests to rub a pinch of mulch between their fingers and notice how cool it feels. Or ask them to point to the nearest pollinator within 10 seconds. If the problem was overload, remove one fact and add one pause in your explanations. For example, instead of 3 yield statistics, say one practical line such as, this row saved 2 watering cans this week. Then pause for 3 seconds so people can look at the soil and let the message land. If the issue was friction, change the flow. Add shade, split the group briefly, or run a cue activity so waiting time becomes engagement. Now let's talk about sparks, what they are and why they work. Sparks are these tiny moments that reignite attention by adding novelty, a quick action, or a short mystery. They work because they use the senses, participation, and curiosity. 3 routes the brain naturally prioritizes. Sparks are short on purpose, 10 to 60-second stops, and they do not require more than common items. I will now gladly teach you 2 sparks that need almost no equipment and are very effective. Spark 1 is called smell and tell, and this is what you need to do. Hold 2 fresh aromatic leaves, for example, basil or mint. Ask your guests to close their eyes and smell, and then ask which plant smells stronger and why might that be. Then briefly explain in a single sentence. A richer scent can mean the plant faced less water stress or grew in healthier soil. Why it works? Because scent connects directly to memory and emotion. A quick decision, such as which one smells stronger, focuses attention, and your single sentence explanation links the sense to a clear sustainability message. In this case, richer aroma often signals a practice that saves water. Let's move on to Spark 2, called the 10-second movement. During your tour, trigger this spark by saying, raise your hand if you have ever planted a seed. Then say, turn to a partner and share one tip in 5 seconds. Why it works? Because a brief movement, such as raising the hand, resets energy. A micro conversation, such as the tip sharing, creates social focus, and everyone participates, including quieter guests, so attention returns just in time for your next point. Before saying goodbye, let's do a quick recap of this session. We studied a plain model of attention. We learned to map a tour with 5 boxes and simple minutes. We practiced a quick 15-minute audit using up or down energy notes, and we learned 2 sparks that need almost no equipment. In our next episode, we will be exploring how to shape a one-phrase story spine and place curiosity at the right moments so your peaks occur exactly where you need them. Make sure you bring on your tour map as we will be working further with it. It was a delight sharing these first insights with you. As we continue this journey, remember, change doesn't need to be grand to be powerful. Even the smallest visible gestures can anchor attention, build trust, and shape an experience that stays with your visitors from gate to goodbye and beyond. Thank you.